Hello, everyone. We've seen this scenario before, many times at this point. Ukraine sits down with satellite imagery, intelligence information, and orchestrates a very carefully planned precision attack on the objects inside Russia's territory, which is exactly what it did yesterday. The targets included, once again, places that are pertinent to Russia's military, such as ammunition depots, chemical plants, gunpowder factories, things like that. That was executed. Russian media once again lied about it. They said all the targets were shot down. Apparently, they continue destroying Ukrainian missiles and drones using buildings, like, for example, an ammunition factory. And what does Russia do? Anybody? Attack Ukrainian power grid. If that is your answer, you can give yourself a cookie. Not only that, but the attack was so massive that in Poland, they were forced to scramble fighter jets. And just a reminder, Poland is not only a member of the EU, Poland is a member of NATO. And of course, it's Ukrainian civilians who are suffering. They had to announce power cuts across the border in 6 regions. And once again, Ukraine has done an amazing job, especially considering the state of war, the limited resources, all of that. Targeting only Russia's military objects. Russia, carpet bombing. A lot of people have been asking, especially when it comes to the conversation about my parents, why don't they just get out? Why don't they go somewhere safer? Once upon a time, 3 years ago or so, there was an option of moving farther west in Ukraine. So toward the cities like Lviv, toward the Polish border. Now, there is no such thing. There's literally no place safe anymore in Ukraine because of the attacks like this one. There's no telling who will be hit next, where, and with how much force. So that's problem number 1. Problem number 2 is that there are no safe passages, no green corridors for the civilians to get out. Russian military refused to guarantee the safety of civilians. They basically said in the past that if they see a caravan of buses or trucks or cars going from one city to another, they will bomb it. So people have nowhere to go and they have no way to go there. So that's why. Australian government had summoned the Russian ambassador over a report that an Australian man had been killed after he was taken as a POW. He was one of the foreign nationals. Once again, these are private individuals. They do not represent military or government of their countries. They're private individuals who decided to go and fight in Ukraine because that's what they believe. So this guy went over to Ukraine and fought and was taken POW. And now there are reports that he was executed while in Russian custody. Once again, there have been numerous violations of the Geneva Conventions by the Russian military. And so at this time, Australian government is still waiting for all of the details. What they're saying is that if any harm had come to this man, it is reprehensible and Australian government will take the strongest action possible. Such as what? Can you be more specific? The strongest action possible would actually be to send troops to Ukraine and help them out. That's the strongest action possible. But, Up to you. I'd like to remind everybody that this man is not the first and probably not the last foreign national who fought and died in Ukraine, or fought and was captured by the Russians and then died in their custody. Once again, the question is, like, who is running the show between Trump and Putin? And again, I'm leaning toward Putin. Because once again, if you look at the rhetoric coming out of the Kremlin, it's all, we'll call you, we will set the time, we will set the place, we will set the conditions, and so on and so forth. And there is the continued narrative that it's somebody else's fault that Russia had invaded Ukraine. It's the typical abuser rhetoric of, hey, see what you made me do. There's another package of sanctions coming, and that one should actually hurt. So, what is this all about? This is about aluminum. And here is what's going on. So, Russia does have a lot of ferrous and non-ferrous metals that are very expensive. So, if this is cut off, that is a huge chunk of Russia's revenue. Good on you, European Commission, because that is going to hurt. That is going to hit Russia right in the pocketbook. And the drama over the natural gas supply to Moldova's separatist region of Transnistria continued. So right now, the leader had visited Moscow to talk about what to do, and at this time, I think that's a bad idea. Guys in Transnistria, consider, instead of talking to Russia, talk to Moldova, talk to Romania, see if anybody wants to take you back. This is the cost of siding with Russia. What you're experiencing right now is the direct consequence of your breaking away from Moldova when they left the Soviet Union. This was your decision. This is what you decided to do. And you were hoping Russia would help you. And it's not gonna. They are watching the confirmation hearings for Trump's cabinet appointees in Ukraine, because that is important. And right now, whom do we have at the mic? Pete Hegseth. I myself am a part of the Watchdog Coalition. I have participated in the letter writing and sending campaign to my senators, urging them not to confirm the sexist, racist, xenophobic, alcoholic woman abuser for this post. And, his confirmation hearing basically confirmed all of the worst things that we already knew about him, and the fact that he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, and he's not qualified for this job. All he could say about the conflict in Ukraine is that he knows who the bad guys are and he knows who the good guys are. Do you? Considering the level of influence of his position, I hope the Armed Services Committee thinks long and hard before shooting America in the foot. Just saying. Because this man would be acting as the principal defense policymaker all over the world, representing the United States. It is of concern to Ukraine, but once again, this is also a concern to everybody. This appointment will have global effects. We'll have to see.